Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Take a Deep Breath with Yvonne Daniels podcast. And it's your well-being girlfriend, Yvonne Daniels. That's me. I encourage you and am helping you to embrace the power of giving your body permission to relax for better choices, health, and wealth. And I'm throwing myself in there as well. And we're doing it one deep breath at a time. All you need is an open heart and an open mind and a willingness to grow and to go. So, you know how we start off every episode? Let's take that deep breath in and out. And man, I'm telling you, you can do this anytime, anywhere you want. And it really does make a difference. I dare you to try it. So, over this way, we're all about doing more than surviving. We are all about thriving. And we're all about changing health narratives and leaving health legacies. I was thinking health is wealth that you're actually born with. We talk about, money, wealth, and, how to, set up trust and all that. All that's so important. You have to have wealth. They talk about different ways to acquire it and get some more money and all that. But your health is actually something that you are actually born with. So that means, too, that we've got to make sure that we are stewarding our health. All right. So once again, I'm your well-being girlfriend. I know it takes support. It takes a village. It takes all of us. So this is really important, though, and very interesting. September is actually National Healthy Aging Month. All right. So this month is promoting the importance of healthy lifestyles for adults age 45, represent and older, encouraging them to take charge of their health and well-being. So this month was established to highlight the positive aspects of aging and to inspire adults to adopt healthier lifestyles. So here's the thing: as I'm out and about, we're talking about aging. It's not looked at too fondly, but there are initiatives, and once again, that's what this month is all about: encouraging you to focus on your health, happiness, and future, emphasizing that it is never too late to reinvent yourself. As a matter of fact, the theme for the National Healthy Aging Month, the whole theme is never too late to reinvent yourself, encouraging you to pursue new goals, whether it involves career changes, lifestyle adjustments, or personal growth. So once again, when I was thinking about aging, and when you talk about people, when you talk to people about aging, and I hear this constantly, it's almost like it is assumed that as you grow older, as you get to be in your 40s and your 50s, people almost wear it as a badge of honor that they have aches and they have pains, almost like claiming that, taking it on. I refuse to do that. And I hope you are refusing to do it as well. So positive aging, you never think about or never hear people talking about positive aging. When we think about aging, we think about things that are not the most positive. And I don't know if my producer can join in, but Matt, are you able to join in with me here? All right, Matt. Now, Matt, you're a young guy. I mean, you're of the age that I could actually, there comes an age when people are like, don't ask me my age, even though you should always be thankful. How old are you, Matt?
I'm 19.
You're 19. All right.
Actually, I just turned 20.
Woo, woo! Matt is 20, out of the teens. So you're finally out of the teens. So Matt, let me just ask you, when you think about aging, and I go back to when I was 20, what do you think of? What do you hear when people talk about aging? What do you think of yourself when you think about as you may not even think about getting older, but what are some of your thoughts?
Let's see here. The older you get, the more money that you have.
Okay.
I know that your body starts to break down and stuff like that, and your back pain and neck pain and stuff like that. I know that's a pretty big one. Other than that, just the same old. I don't really just getting older comes with back pain, neck pain, stuff like that. Retirement, that's one of the big things. But yeah.
So are you thinking, okay, have you thought, well, I hear it all the time, so I know once I turn 50, 60, I probably can go ahead and expect some back pain and some leg pain and some. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully this will kind of change your mind, because it doesn't have to be that way. You can be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and don't have all those aches and pains. Now, it will come with intentionality and that comes with support. And sometimes you hear, people talking about, to stay healthy, you've got to do this, this, and that. You hear it all the time. But I think that things bear repeating. So I think the more that you hear them, the more that you can come to trust and believe, okay, well, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing something positive things that come with aging. So maybe that can be my reality. And I definitely do believe. So here's to you aging gracefully, Matt. All right. With no aches and pains. How about that?
Thank you.
Okay. You are welcome. All right. So when we think about aging, in a lot of cultures, a lot of cultures revere the older people. They look at all the positives that come with it. But where we are here in America, a lot of folks really, they just kind of, I've heard people say that they get ignored when they're older and they're just not as respected, which is really sad. But hopefully we can kind of change some things. And I definitely revere the older folks because, as we're talking about the different things that come with aging, we have to look at the positive aspects of growing older, which include emotional maturity. All right. Yeah. Your responses to things, you realize, it ain't that serious. A lot of stuff is just not that serious. And a term that we like to use is unbothered, right? A lot of the young folks like to use the term unbothered. So that's something we can look forward to as we grow older. Wisdom, life experiences. All right. And hopefully we can continue to live lives where the younger people that are following us don't have to go into the same ditches that maybe we went into. Okay. So we've got that wisdom that should come with age, thoughtful decisions. And one that's really, really important to me is gratitude. A lot of times it's so easy to complain about the things that we don't have, the things that are going wrong. But I dare you to just think about those things that are going, the smallest of things. Okay. The fact that you can walk. There are people that can't walk, that have walkers, that have trouble. I see them all the time getting out of their cars and just so many different things. All right. So whatever you can think of, the fact that you got your family intact, there are people that have, very important people in their lives that have passed away, that they're dealing with that loneliness and grief. So there's just so many things to be thankful, about every day. And when you start counting the things that you can have gratitude for, can be thankful for, that really does start to change the way you think. And it starts to make you realize, okay, there are more things to be grateful for than there are to complain about. So that's something that's very important. And then your emotional well-being. Now, back in the 70s and the 80s, man, folks, it seems like we didn't have as much stress and as much anger. Today we have so many more conveniences, but along with that comes a lot of stress, a lot of worry, a lot of anger. And so, two, being intentional about all the stuff that we have, all of the just conveniences that we have. Sometimes you have to take a deep breath and say, you know what, I need to back away from all that and just kind of take things a little more simple. Maybe you don't need to be scrolling all day. Okay. You don't need to have your phone in your hand, even though I know it's very convenient, but sometimes just going back to the way we were before we had all of this technology and conveniences, which we love. They're very helpful, but we too sometimes just kind of have to kind of step back with that. So we don't stay here long, but we want to be very impactful on this podcast. And so I just want to talk about some things maybe that we want to ponder. I'm pondering these as I'm telling you. All right. If you are 45, once again, representing for the 45 and older, some things that maybe we want to stop doing, which is neglecting regular checkups. I often say, listening to your body is so important. And I understand that as you get older, things change. And so your body may start to talk to you a little differently, a little louder, and it can be very scary, but it is so important because your body is looking out for you. Okay. It's looking out for itself. So listen to your body. When it's talking to you, go and get stuff checked out, because if you don't, it's only going to get worse. Also, this is something that I struggle with. You may too, but poor sleep habits. It's not good. We've got to find ways to balance our schedules. People are so busy nowadays, and people wear that as a badge of honor as well, to be so busy. But it is so important to get enough sleep. Once again, I am working on that myself. Matt, I know you're in school, so I know you probably are. That's a challenge for you.
Yeah. My sleep schedule is terrible,
Okay.
actually. So,
well, you're in school. We're going to give you a pass, but hopefully that's something that you can kind of get a handle on too. And it says to aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. And I will just say, just from my own journey, listen to your body. Sometimes 7 to 8 hours is a lot of sleep for me, and my body can say, okay, it's time to get up. So listen to your body on that, but get enough sleep. That is so, so important. And then of course our diets, which can be so challenging, eating a lot of processed food, which can cause inflammation, metabolic issues. We want to focus on whole foods, cutting out so much sugar, getting our leafy greens in, a lot of berries, which are really good. And I know it can take some effort because that sugar, they've said, is worse than crack. But once again, it's being very intentional and thinking about it. And then moving your body, baby. I am a big proponent of moving your body and not living a sedentary lifestyle. So any kind of way that you can find, even if it's parking away from the store, a little further back. I know it's real, man, it's just like, you know what, chef's kiss to get that front row parking spot. But maybe you want to park 5 or 6 spaces back. All right. So you can get out and get a few more steps in. And it's going to really, really help. And then ignoring our mental health, stress, anxiety, depression, all of that seems to be on the rise nowadays. And a lot of times we have to think about what we are thinking about, what we're reading, what we're allowing to consume us, and to what we're watching on television, all of that stuff. Those are things that we can control with our mental health. So these are just some things as we honor National Healthy Aging Month, celebrating growing older, celebrating all of the positive things, and celebrating the fact that it is our wealth that we are born with, our health, and it is up to us to steward it. We can. This is your well-being girlfriend, Yvonne Daniels. I am here for all of us, baby. All right, as we continue this journey. Once again, I tell you, we're not here for a long time, but to be very, very impactful. So thank you so much for listening and being a part of this episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And be sure to check me out on my website, deepbreathsandtastebuds.blogspot.com. Coming up in a few episodes to come, we're going to be talking about some different ways that we're going to be fostering community, that we're going to be helping each other to continue this journey of just, giving our bodies permission to relax, staying healthy, aging positively, and all of that. I'm here with you. All right. So once again, it's Yvonne Daniels. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Take a Deep Breath with Yvonne Daniels podcast. I'll see you on the next episode.